One thing that is surprising to me, even for high achieving professionals, people, that have liquid net worths of 2 million or more, I would argue that the simplest, most efficient and effortless way to build wealth is by setting a dollar amount that you're going to invest every single paycheck or every single month, however you're doing it, and simply decide to allocate those dollars to, your future financial independence. So I think you can absolutely save and stash your way to being financially independent. So, are we talking about saving or investing? I happened to look yesterday just out of curiosity because it came up in conversation. Over the past 30 years, it's up 2001%. So, yeah, you can save and stash your way to financial independence. It just takes time. It's not quick, it's not easy, it's not sexy, but yeah, you can absolutely get there. Now, I think the second part of the question is more of a behavioral or psychological component. Is what is wealthy? I've met doctors who have $8 million who will never be able to experience financial independence because their spend is enormous. I've met nurses and teachers who can retire with $500,000, $250,000, who have Social Security and pensions that pay out 3x what their monthly expenses are. So I think how we define wealth is critically important in the context of that quote. When you do your annual reviews, you have to show up, be present, and you have to crush them. You have to be ready to go. You have to be able to deliver advice and guidance in a way that is memorable to them. When you do that, that's going to make it easier for them to introduce you to people that they care about. And I think, one thing that is surprising to me, even for high achieving professionals, people, that have liquid net worths of 2 million or more, they need to hear from somebody else outside of their immediate family that it's okay to spend money. I don't know why, but they need it. They need that reassurance that you can take the trip to Greece. Hey, you can take a couple of weeks and go to Scotland, Iceland, and Norway, like a couple that we met with on Friday. They meet people on those trips, or they take a friend on a trip, or they meet people on the trip, and they introduce those people to you. It is something that happens when they realize that they're not just saving dollars for a spreadsheet or an account statement, that those dollars actually have a purpose, and that's to do the things that they find most meaningful and important. Yeah, I think there's always a little bit of fear about running out of money. I mean, there's been all kinds of research, right? People are more afraid of running out of money during their lifetime than dying, but they need the reassurance that we have a plan. The plan accounts for up markets and down markets, and that you are completely within your right to spend this money on doing the things that you love to do. I can't tell you exactly the why, but I can tell you that it's important. And I think it's important to tell people that they have reached a level of financial independence and work is optional. I think it's important to tell people that they've reached a level of financial independence where they don't have to save and invest anymore. People need to hear that. They need that reassurance to be able to do those things confidently. And I also think when a financial planner that they trust tells them that, they can go on that vacation and they can just enjoy themselves versus taking that vacation without without the concept of a plan, and they're taking the vacation but they're still thinking about, should I have taken the vacation? Is this a good idea? How much is this vacation going to cost? How are we going to pay for this vacation once we get back? It's important. I don't know the whys, but it is. It's the fight with, how do you make things simpler, more rememberable, easier to understand with tinkering, right? So it's a little bit of a fine line, but I think for me, it's continuing to streamline the communication process. And I've been doing a little bit more writing in like an executive summary for clients, in addition to kind of the one page plan. The one page plan is wonderful. It's an easy takeaway. It's pretty, but sometimes that executive summary with just some of the bullet points and action items listed out a little bit separately, I think is more impactful to people. I do think the one page plan is pretty. It's nice. It's something they can print out. And then I hear stories about they put it on, um, on the refrigerator, or they've taped it to their mirror in their bathroom, or whatever the case might be. But I also think just it's good for me as the advisor to type out the executive summary and to get my thoughts on paper. But I think people really like that. So I think the fight for simple is much more important than trying to make things complex. Continuing to remind people that um, directionally accurate is better than precision. I think people really like that from a planning process, because we have no idea what the future holds as far as tax rates and things like that. But we're trying to be directionally accurate. We're trying to get to Orlando. We're not necessarily trying to get to Typhoon Lagoon within Orlando. We're just directionally accurate is good enough. So I think that's our big focus. It's meaningful. It goes beyond basis points and return versus benchmark and things like that. It is it's clarity and confidence in the future, and a lot of people just want a trusted partner. Period. And sometimes it needs to be outside of the family, because being inside the family can be a little bit too close, and you just need kind of a third party person to work through things.